A powerful 7.4 in Japan this morning, generating a tsunami advisory in the same region devastated by an earthquake and tsunami in 2011. 16,000 plus people killed. New Zealander Anna Fifield is the Washington Post bureau chief based in Tokyo. I asked her via Skype video if people heeded the early morning tsunami warning.
Yes, they did. I mean, the first warning came actually through the mobile phone alert system, and that people's cell phones, even in Tokyo, started blaring 25 seconds before the quake arrived. So people certainly had time to wake up, to get under the table or the door frame or whatever with the earthquake that came. And then we could hear on the TV, watching the local TV stations here today, that the sirens were blaring all along that affected part of the coastline, immediately telling people to evacuate, to move to higher ground and to stay there. And so people certainly did move immediately. The memories of 5 years ago are all too raw still.
Well, 16,000 dead. I mean, of course they remember that, but I'm fascinated by this cell phone system because there is a discussion about something similar in New Zealand. So everyone with a mobile phone in Japan who was in the affected area receives notification of what's going on.
That's right. There is an alert that comes out from the government agency that comes through every cell phone, and it blares even when you have your phone on silent to alert you to it. And so I wasn't in parts of Tokyo that have this kind of thing, but usually in central parts of Tokyo during previous earthquakes, I've heard the warnings come out from speaker systems in parks and around street corners and things like that. So there is now this warning system to tell people an earthquake is coming, take cover.
Right, a state of heightened preparedness, which is a good thing, obviously, and understandable too, in the context of 2011, as you said. How are the nuclear power plants standing up?
Well, there was quite a lot of concern about the Fukushima Daiichi plant, which remains still in a very fragile state. The decontamination work is still going on there. Lots of fuel rods still in the reactors 5 years on. So there were concerns because the epicenter of this quake was so close to it. But TEPCO, the power utility, is saying that everything appears to be fine there. There's no reports of damage. They're monitoring the situation very closely. However, there is a number 2 plant just up the road from the number 1 plant. That is, it's not operational, but it's all, the hardware is all still there. There are still fuel rods in the reactors. And there were reports there that the cooling system in one of the reactors shut down shortly after the earthquake. So people were concerned that heating might happen there, that there may be a disaster brewing, but the system came back up again and everything seems to be okay there too.
Anna, this was a large earthquake. It's over 7 now, it's been upgraded, and it was pretty close. And it does seem on the face of it that Japan has stood up to this fairly well, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have now. I mean, Japan would have said 6 years ago that they could stand up fairly well to an earthquake, but, nobody was expecting a 9 magnitude earthquake like they suffered 5.5 years ago. So it's just a matter of degree, really. I mean, these fears were revived during the Kumamoto earthquake some months ago in the southern part of Japan. And so that is near one of the areas where one of the very first power plants has been turned back on, nuclear power plants, because this remains a very controversial issue here. Lots of people say, why should this seismically active country like Japan still be using nuclear power? So the fact that there was a huge earthquake so close to one of the restarted reactors stoked people's fears again. So I think this disaster today, or this earthquake today, underscores that, the fact that this is a very seismically active region. They still have not even dealt with the earthquake and the fallout of that from 5 years ago. So people are really reluctant to turn these things back on.
It's Anna Fifield.